Victor Margiotta, and this is the Community Show. Thank you so much for watching. You can't talk community unless you're talking about Shawn O'Mara. I actually asked this guy to come on the show about 5 years ago, and I don't know what it is. I just get on a roll. People that come in the restaurant, whatever. But finally, I'm very blessed to have him come on the show. So we're going to talk about community and family, and just really appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Vic.
First question, how long have you been eating Paradise Pizza?
Oh, God. I think within the womb I have been. I'm born and raised in Verplank, so it's got to be. Yeah.
I always loved when your father used to come and pick up the pizzas and, and of course appreciate the business,
Oh, yeah, and as we got older and the kids, we'd follow in behind them, and your father would be there with a soda and put a cherry in the glass for us, and we loved it.
Well, you can't say the Italians and the Irish are very much alike. The big families and the Catholic upbringing and
the closeness.
Yeah, I think, and I think we get along great, and especially in Verplank. I mean, the Irish were here first, and then the Italians came in, and the Irish weren't very happy about it, but we finally worked
started to intermingle.
That's right, and things worked out, and the Paradise, for one thing, brought a lot of people together, and still is.
Still does, yeah.
Which is a great thing.
It's an icon in this community, and we love it. Yes, we do.
And now you're an icon here, and really appreciate your work here.
Thank you.
Now, you went to Hendrick Hudson High School.
I did. I graduated Hendrick Hudson in 1990. After high school, I joined the Navy after.
All right.
So did 4 years in the Navy, and then I got out and went to funeral directing school.
Now, how did you decide to go to the Navy?
Well, I wasn't really ready for college after graduating high school, so I was a couple little jobs around right after graduation, and it was right around New Year's. It was decided to go in January of '91. I went in, so from '91 to '94.
Right. Where were you stationed?
I was first boot camp. I went to Great Lakes, which they call Great Mistakes. It was really real cold weather, North Chicago.
Oh my God!
The wind, the cold, and they have your uniform of the day when you're leaving boot camp. And it was one time, I think it was everything in your locker because it was 25 below with the wind off the lakes. And then from there, they had the Iraq War had started while we were in boot camp, so they were cycling. I was going to school to be a hospital corpsman, which is a medic in the Navy. So they were cycling, some people going over to Iraq, some people going to their bases. So I ended up going to Cherry Point Naval Hospital in North Carolina.
Wow.
So it was Marine Corps base on the East Coast. So I spent 2 years there, and then I went to a fast frigate guided missile cruiser out of Mayport, Florida, and we went back over to the Red Sea during Desert Storm.
Wow.
So, it was a good experience. And been in a lot of different countries, and I was in Italy. I was in La Maddalena and Palau, and if I had to go AWOL anywhere that I've been, those were probably La Maddalena would have been the place to go. It was beautiful, beautiful island off of Sardinia. It was it was lovely. The food was good. It was very, very good.
Yeah, people forget that the Mussolini was they forgive him because the food was so good in Italy. It
was very good. It was very good.
I'm dying to go. I got to go before I lose my chance.
Yeah.
But so you come out of the service.
So so we come back over from deployment, and it was 1994, and I was due to get out in 1995. Actually, I was due to get out. So we were going to a dry dock situation, and I says, well, I wanted to go to funeral directing school. So the next class started in September of '94. So we had an opportunity, they was doing early releases back then and doing a scale down of the military. So I put in a request to leave early, because they're going to dry dock.
Yeah.
If I can leave a little bit early, 3 months early to get out to go to funeral directing school, which was approved. So
wow.
I got out in August of '94 and started school in September, and went to McAllister Institute of Funeral Service in Manhattan is where I went. In fact, my daughter actually just told me a month ago that that's what she wants to do, and we put an application in. So she'll be graduating this year. We'll have another funeral director, family funeral director going to school. So.
When did they change the name of mortician to funeral director?
Well, it's still mortician,
Yeah.
digger, Odell, they call it. They're still the same. There's a lot of different names that are called, but.
Well, how did you decide? Is there somebody in your family that does
No,
it?
there wasn't. Actually, that was a high school job of mine. I got washing cars and cutting grass at a funeral home.
Wow.
And when you're around, whether you're the secretary or you're working outside and you need a hand, hey, come here,
Yeah.
give me a hand to lift or move, and I wasn't really afraid of it. And
Wow.
so, and that's something I thought of.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the EMS and I like the first responders, and that's why I went into service as a medic. But then now I have the other side, the
Right.
quieter side.
Yeah, right. So you were down in Manhattan.
So after school, I did my residency in White Plains, a funeral home in White Plains.
White Plains.
So in New York State, we have to do a year residency before you're licensed. And then from there, I went to a family-owned funeral home from 1885, and there's still the 5th generation is still running the business.
Wow.
There on 70th and 1st, John Criddle Funeral Home. Real family. Sunday mornings, I work Sunday to Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, we locked the door at 11 o'clock on First Avenue. We went up to Mrs. Criddle's kitchen. She made roast pork and dumplings. We sat at the table, had a Pilsner, and then back to work. It was just a nice place to work.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And after leaving there, I left there and went what they call, it's a trade service. So I work for different funeral homes. It was a company I started in 2000, and I still do it from time to time and help different funeral homes, whether we going to New York City, going to airports, or certain behind-the-scenes aspects of the business for different funeral homes, which I still do. And then we came here in 2007.
Yeah, it's a
was
funny
originally,
story.
yeah.
What happened?
So in 2007, it was 2007, a friend of mine was a partner in Murphy's Law, was a bar and restaurant in Manhattan, and it was a Spanish guy that could cook Irish food. So he was looking they were out on Long Island, they were looking, and this bar, I know being in town, was empty at the time. And I said, it'd be good to make the burgers and a bar food, it'd be a nice thing. So I made an agreement with the owner at the time to meet here and he never showed up. So, I forgot, and, to turn around in Manhattan to come up here. So I said, you know what, I'll make this a funeral home. And they said, why not? Well, let's see. And that's what we did. We called the architect and engineers, and we put things together and drawings and went before the town board, and we made it a funeral home. So we're actually sitting in the old bar room. This was the bar.
Yeah.
The bar used to go along this wall here. And then the TV was up here.
Yeah, I've been here a
Yeah.
few times. But, when it was, the Orchard Inn, and then the Finns owned it for a while.
The Finns were here, yeah.
Got to say hi to Brian and Mary Kate.
Rose,
Rose. All good people.
Yeah, Brian was here not too long ago for a service, and and I saw him looking upstairs, and I said, Brian, so now I live upstairs on the second floor. So I said to Brian, I said, you want to go upstairs? And it was like I was bringing him back to his childhood. He goes, yeah, well, that would be great. And just to see, there's some changes, little changes from when he grew up, because upstairs on the 3rd floor was the old hotel. This was the Orchard Hotel. So, he was like, I couldn't believe, and this was here. It was a big childhood memory to come back, I guess, in your house where you grew up was pretty good. Yeah, he enjoyed that. And into the basement. Everybody wants to see the basement here. Yeah. So, and the basement is still like a little wine cellar in the back, and it's neat.
Well, how old is the building?
The building's it was built in the 1850s, is what we guess. This is the original fireplace still here. This iron grate we had found down in the basement, that was still there. The 1850s.
Yeah, I love that. That's great.
If it was a story, Kenny Golden had passed, rest his soul, Kenny. But he had I don't know what year anniversary it was. It was probably in the early 2000s, and he had a horse-drawn buggy take him and his wife up Broadway.
I remember that.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So at the time, Jimmy Burns also, this was Jim Burns's family home and bar and restaurant. Jim had a picture for me. I don't know if you see it on my if you go and look on my Facebook,
Okay.
you'll see a picture of the horse and buggy of the original owner of the property here. So I was trying to show yeah, this is the building, and I went to the front door with that picture, and it was at the same time that Kenny and his wife were going up with the horse, and it was really a little
That's
weird.
amazing.
Yeah,
Perfect
yeah,
timing.
perfect timing.
You know?
But it's a nice place, and
And you know, it serves the purpose for sure.
Yeah.
And you know, we're lucky to have you here.
yeah,
for
thank
sure.
you, thank you.
Now, how has the science changed just from when you started?
Science in regard to like embalming and things. Things
Yeah.
are changing with that. There's the traditional funerals that used to be 1 and 2 and 3 days of visitations is slowly
Yeah.
going away, and for financial reasons or just just requests that
Yeah.
people are doing a lot of cremations, more and more cremations. There's still some people are still doing the wake.
Yes.
And doing the visitation or the service at a church or in the funeral home, and then doing cremation. But so that's changing. There's a lot of change in that.
Yep.
But that's been the trend. It's happening out west, and it slowly came
This way.
this way.
Sure.
So and it affects the part of the business, the livery business. There used to be the flower cars and the limousines
Right.
and things. Well, it affects a lot of part of the business. So it's changing, but you have to change with any business.
Yes.
I'm sure in restaurant
Oh,
business
yeah.
changes.
You know, with the pandemic and everything
Pandemic,
else. I mean, thank God,
yes.
you know, we owned the building, so you know, and takeout was a big part of our
Yes.
business forever. So, you know,
That carried you along. Here in it changed, because some people that would normally have open casket visitations were not allowed to. Right?
Yeah.
Or if they were allowed to, it was only a small number of people for a limited time. So as that evolved, that changed. The pandemic changed our business a lot, and that was. And I was a funeral director during 9/11, and like I said, I did a lot of removals for different funeral homes. So I was in Manhattan a lot doing transfers and through that. And during the pandemic itself, I've never seen that many people dead at one time.
yeah.
So it seemed
know,
to be
this place
something of
was
a
packed.
weapons grade level of a bug that was attacked, like we were attacked, because I've never seen, and that caused nobody knew what to do. I mean, morgues are full and nursing homes, and where do you go? And a lot of the nursing homes, they don't have refrigerations. So they went to day rooms and closed off, and everybody tried to just implement what they could at the time. They did the best they could. Everybody, I think, in all aspects, EMS, everybody was affected. It's like 9/11. Everybody knows where they were during that time. This is a period of time in every business of how life changed for everybody.
Yep.
Restaurants, funeral homes, everything, schools, kids. I think it really had a effect on a lot of people.
I know. I just hope that we learn something from it, and are able to move on. They say it never happened before, but you've had so many incidences in the past with, pandemics and war and things that.
And it changes the way we do things, and forever we're changed now, of how we do things and handle things. Yeah.
So you're very involved with the fire department.
I am. I joined the fire department when I was a kid, 16, and before I went into the service, I was very involved, and I was the first responder on the ambulance, and we did a lot of ambulance calls back then, and went through my training for firefighting, and then through my years of being in the funeral business and moving out of the area, moving back, I was associate, but since I've been back in the area and back open, I've been involved in.
Well, it's a great bunch of guys down there, too.
It really is, yeah.
Now, for young people that want to join, what are some of the ways they can get involved?
So, I mean, really, there's applications, an application process. There's a schooling, it's free training that is offered for those at the Fire Training Center. Yeah. We do in-house training at the fire department. So we kind of ease everybody. It's not for everybody, but the fire department, there's a lot of things to do around the department. that's also changed. I mean, there's a lot of training and different qualifications and certain things that you would need for that training to be a firefighter today. The hours of training has changed, but there's a lot of things within the firehouse, especially us. We have an ambulance, we have a boat, we have a ladder truck, we have pumpers and smaller boats. So we have a lot of different things that people can get acclimated and be involved in the community and the firehouse here in Burr Plain.
Well, thank God, fire safety is at its best now, and people are, aware to keep, their houses safe. And so there isn't as many fires as there used to be, which
There
is
isn't.
a great thing.
No.
But
And things of materials and things that things are made of have changed. A lot of that was brought up. We said, just wearing your gear and the carcinogens are here and there, but back then it was just wood. A lot of stuff was just wood, but the plastics, and we have a lot of batteries and stuff now. That's been popular in the in the news today with the charging of the batteries heating up and causing fires.
Yeah, the couple of fires that have been caused by.
Yes, yeah. So it's this stuff that has to be addressed and worked on. Yeah.
Now you're a very big part of the American Legion building here, right in Burr Plain, also. So
American Legion, it was back, I think, want to say around the 2005, 6 area time. I joined. I was back in the area at the time, and it was a small group of guys. And what it entailed at the Legion is we would go there. There'd be one light on, and our Legion Hall was a little invaded by squirrels. There might have been more squirrels in there at the meeting than we were.
Yeah. Right.
And we would meet there. We'd get a count, 4, 5, 6 of us. The light would go off, and up to the Paradise we went, and that's where we had our meeting.
Yeah.
So that's how we did that for years, and slowly but surely we got a little
got the money to do
some
something.
money, and there's the Masonic Cortland Lodge, the number 34 was in a area because they were on the 3rd floor of the Elks Lodge, and we were only one set of stairs. I think that's probably what they were looking for at the time. So, and we were in the renovation process of cleaning it up, so they kind of took over and made the 2nd floor their home, and we have a good relationship with them, with the American Legion. It gave us a new birth. I was a commander at the time down there, and now Shawn Murray is our commander.
Awesome.
Doing a great job. Shawn likes to cook, so he'll put something in a slow cooker for the guys, and that's our meetings. We meet the 2nd Wednesday of every month at 10:30. It's William J. Boyle, post 10:30.
What's the main objective there?
Just community, support the community, and support veterans in any way that we can. We're involved. We did the Cortland Veterans Park. We were involved in setting that up down at the riverfront property. They're also doing some benches in remembrance at the moment. So things like that. We do the Memorial Day parades. We're involved with the program at the Blue Mountain Middle School for certificates of awards for veterans and things like that in the community. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I don't like to talk about bad things. I like to keep the show upbeat, but a lot of young kids passing away with this heroin, and you hardly hear about it. It's swept under the rug, but I think it needs to be talked about. What's your take on it?
Well, my being in the medical field, I didn't. My exposure back in the 90s to Narcan was during, any surgeries, anything. Seeing a little bit of overdose, not as much as it is today. And now it's, people have it in their homes. It's a lifesaver, and thank God we have that. It's just a terrible. That's another pandemic that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, some people don't understand. None of these kids intend to do what they do. Their body tells them to do. It's like trying not to eat, but you're going to eat. Yeah. So you grab a cookie, and that cookie now, just changed everybody's life. Not only the person. It's over for the person that passed, but it changes everybody's life.
Yeah. There's some programs out there. I mean, the only thing I could say is if you feel like you have a problem, you should go and seek help. And it's not easy.
That's
But
the hardest part for people. They don't want to address their problem. They're embarrassed of the problem. They try to, and that's the hardest part of doing that, is addressing the problem themselves. And that's who has to do it. They have to do that.
yeah,
Yeah, and there was a time here that we had, that image of a person, those who were on heroin or these hard drugs, and now it's fentanyl, that you would see, you had an image of that person, and that was not. These were sports pictures and jerseys coming in, and just people that you would see in a normal family, and it affected everybody. It wasn't like a divorced family, and this is the result, or something bad. It was everybody.
yeah, and
It had no borders. It was really bad.
And like I said, I address it because I love this community. I love the people in this community, and if this is something that should be talked about, not just swept under the rug. So I'm glad you were able to talk a little bit about that.
And it's hopefully it's something that will just go away, so to speak. But it's going to take work. The community has to work on that.
So we have your son working at the restaurant. I love his, he's a hard
That's
worker.
great.
He's a good kid. You've done a really good job with him.
Thank you. Yeah, I was surprised. I forget how it happened one day. I said, if you saw your brother or Joe, he says, they're looking for somebody to dishwash. And really, when I started working in life, it was 13. It was at the Highland Diner in Ossining. Because now it's Dee Dee's Diner back then, and I started washing dishes, and he loves it.
We love having him.
It's so great. It's good for me. He's within walking distance. I don't have to drive him and pick him up. And
So I told him we got to do a show. He's on the wrestling team.
He is. Yes. Yeah.
I went to St. Patrick's where they didn't really have sports. I was there for 8 years, and I couldn't wait to get to high school. I wanted to be on every sport team. I wound up playing football and baseball and wrestling turned out to be a great outlet. I mean, it's a team sport, but it's also an individual
sport. It's an individual sport, you're right.
And, he sounds like he's really into it. So hopefully maybe I'll get over there and...
Yeah, I think he did some off-season training at GPS over in Armonk. And he's ready. He just started, yesterday was the first day. And he's getting, I think they have their certifications on this Saturday. They're doing that. That's where they get their weight checked and make sure it's by law that they can't. Back in our day, because I wrestled myself, we would. What weight do you want to get at? We try.
I lost 12 pounds in 3 hours one time. They were like, "Are you crazy?" Ran up and down.
Wrap and all that stuff. That no longer can do that.
No.
It's safe, and which is good.
Right.
We were, back in the day, I guess it wasn't safe, but they analyze the kids and make sure that, they're hydrated, how much they are able to lose weight, and that's what they're allowed to do today. Yeah. So that's safe, and that's good. And that's what he just come home to tell me, because he's like, he was going to stay at his weight. He goes, no, I'm going to lose a little weight. I don't know how he's going to do at work, what he's eating over there. You can't feed him any pizza. So
and he doesn't look like he's got any weight to lose.
He doesn't look like he has much. But, he wanted to wrestle, and he started. And I think his first year he did, and he was like, I can't do this. And I said, you'll be fine. He made the weight, and then that was fine. Yeah. Once you make the weight, then you're okay. Yeah.
So I talked to him. He's thinking about doing the service too, though, huh?
He is, yes.
That's exciting.
Yep. He's really into it. He talked about being in the Navy SEAL. I mean, he's a smart kid, and he's got good grades, and he's doing really well. He was the vice president of his class in Blue Mountain, and
excellent.
Shawn's a good kid.
He is. No, that did a great job.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all born with a certain personality.
Yeah.
You can't get away from that, but. Nurture nature, right?
I tease him. I says, I have to make sure I'm do good because I have your name, and you have to make sure you do good because you have my name.
Yeah.
So either way, we're affected. We're affected.
So, talk about the process. People come in. They have it. You do the service.
Yes.
What are some of the services you offer?
So all kinds of, traditional wakes and burials in the local cemeteries here. We do cremations, and We do our monument work. I use a company that's in Rock. They have a place in Hastings, a place in Nyack, and a place in Carmel offices. But to make it easier, the owner, Anthony Minozzi, he'll meet, if we do a stone, he'll come here and make arrangements with families here at the office here.
Right.
But we do offer all those services traditionally that any other funeral home would offer.
Yeah.
Just by a local guy.
Yeah, right.
So
what do you look for the future? How,
I'm
as
here
long as you can, right?
for forever. You know,
Yeah.
we're here. Me and my partner, we're moved on. We also in Ossining and Briarcliff now.
Oh, good.
My daughter's going to go to school, so
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
I got a few generations ahead to keep going. I got a lot of life for me.
Of course.
Yes. But this was my dream. I think that as my company that I used to do work for different funeral homes and was my lily pad to come back to my hometown and open up a funeral home was what I wanted to do. Because I enjoy, at the end, it changes every day is different. We had a situation here that every day is different. You don't know who's going to come to the door, who needs you for what they need you for, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here to help
And it makes a
people.
difference that people know you, and
Yeah.
they feel a little more comfortable.
I don't ride on the back of the ambulance anymore. I'll drive the ambulance, but I won't ride on the back of the ambulance anymore.
That's for sure.
Even though they could use some EMTs at the firehouse, I don't want to get my EMT again.
Yeah, I don't know where you find the time,
Yeah.
believe me, but so glad that you're here. And
I'm
doing
happy to
such a
be
great
here.
job.
And, you guys help us out, after funerals. See people leave their cars here and they'll walk
and they'll
over
just
to the
walk
Paradise
over.
Shore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's just a nice, it's a nice community here.
it is.
It really is. They're doing a lot. The town of Cortland did a lot down the river for us. That's changed since we grew up here. And they invested a lot of money in this town, which is nice.
It is nice. They put the sidewalks. It really looks
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, that really is. That helped a lot. Changes the town.
So I heard you bought a new car.
I had an old van, and this Toyota Sienna had been with me since 2011. I think it was 2012 I got the car, and I had 355,000 miles on the van. And I called it my COVID car. So once that car I had another van, a black van that I got. So I still love my white Sienna that finally the second transmission gave out. So I was in our park, my boss in Hawthorne, the guy who takes care of the maintenance guy. So he had a car in the lot and it had a for sale sign. It was a 2004 Lexus 330. And I said, guess what? I just lost my car. Is he looking to sell it? Yeah, he's looking to sell it. So it turns out that my partner, Joe Carpentieri, it was his father's. Now I remember his mother, Donna, because I've been with them for 27 years. It was his mother, Donna's cars first in 2004. Then it went to his neighbor. Then from his neighbor, it went to Jose, the guy that does the maintenance at the funeral home, and now to me. So I'm the fourth generation of the owner of the car, which it's for my daughter, but I haven't given it to her yet because I like driving it. Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and thanks for everything you do in the community.
Thank you for having me.
We
finally
really
did
need
it after
people.
all these years.
Yeah. Thanks again.
Thank you.
All right. Good to see you.
Thank you.
All right. I'm Victor Margiotta. This is the community show. There's so many ways to get involved in the community, the fire department, just volunteering to help out. So thanks for watching and get involved.